started to notice a lot of people were asking me, oh my God, Lisa, how do you get your confidence? And I tell you, I literally was like, who are they talking to? Like, it's like you're looking over your shoulder because they must be talking about the person behind me. Because if you heard the voice in my head, you'd be like, Lisa, speak nice to yourself. You'd be like, Lisa, why are you so mean? And it's like, the truth is I have a negative voice that tells me all the time the things that I can't do, the things that I'm bad at, the things that I will embarrass myself. It's the one that speaks up where it's like, oh my God, don't you feel shame over that? And so it was very important for me to write the book because there's a massive chasm between the way you feel and the way you show up. Mm-hmm. And so just because I don't feel confident doesn't mean that I don't show up every day. And that's kind of where the radical confidence piece comes in. So thank you for that.
No, of course. And I think that's like a huge misconception when it comes to the topic of confidence in general is people assume that it's something that you were born with and that you don't struggle with and it's not like this muscle. And for me, a lot of it is faking it till you make it. It's like the risk of failure doesn't match like my potential for reward. So I'm going to put myself in uncomfortable situations and maybe look like an idiot because I'm more drawn to succeeding than scared of failure. It's not because I think I'm going to crush it. I have the same negative voice where I go in and I'm like, you're going to sound like a fool. You're not good enough, imposter syndrome, all of these things. But I have to say like, well, what is going to serve me the most and what's my mission, and then just kind of like go that way. But it's not like having this inherent confidence.
Yes, I love that so much. And people see the act, and so they assume you must feel good about yourself to do it. And I love what you say because this was actually one massive pivotal moment for me where I kept getting asked to do public speaking. And, I would say no because the crippling fear. I mean, people fear public speaking more than they do death. Like, that's just how fearful like public speaking is. And so I just kept saying no. I was like, why would I ever do that to myself? And eventually my husband turned around. He's like, babe, like, obviously we built a whole company based on impact. He's like, you keep saying no to this, but actually, you're not in line with what you say you want to achieve. And so if you're okay with that, that's fine. But my husband being my husband, we're very honest with each other. And so I really sat back and just assessed, to your point of like, okay, this is my goal, to create impact, to really move people, that my message makes an impact on them and their lives. And so when I look at why I wasn't going on stage, it was because I was petrified. It was the fear was so overwhelming. The voice in my head said, Lisa, you're going to be terrible. You don't know how to public speak. Your husband is amazing. You've seen all these incredible, like all my friends are just, oh my God, next level. And it's like, you're going to embarrass yourself. You're not even close to their level, right? And so I was very honest about, oh, this is why I'm not doing it. And in that moment, when you think about the voice that's in your head telling you why you're bad, I call it the ego, right? The ego is trying to protect you. The ego doesn't want you to embarrass yourself. The ego doesn't want you to feel shame. So the idea is trying to prevent you. So I go, okay, right now, it's black and white. It's what's more important, my ego or my goals? Like, it's that simple to what you were just saying. Because if I go, oh, it's my goals, then I go, cool. This right now, the fear that I have cannot stop me. So now that I've decided, because it is a decision, I've decided my goals are more important than how I feel about myself. I'm going to put in that first step that I need to take in order to get towards that goal. Because just telling yourself you want it bad enough, ignore your ego, doesn't sometimes actually help you get started. So that's where I go, you still don't have to wait to feel great. You just have to come up with a game plan. So for me, the game plan with public speaking was you just have to say yes. Like, that's the first step. Just say yes. And so in order to overcome that fear, I was like, okay, what do I know about myself? The second someone asks, the fear is going to come in and my instinct is to say no. So I've done the self-assessment and now I know what I'm going to do to counteract that. So I literally said to my team, the next person that reaches out that wants me to public speak, say yes without checking with me. And so that was my game plan in getting over the fear of saying yes. And so I put these little incremental things in, like, okay, well then how do you get on stage? How on earth do you like step on stage? What is that fear? What happens if you get stuck? What is that fear? And then each little step, putting in one little tool that I can go back to so I can step out of my head and out of my emotions and then out of that negative voice that's trying to keep me, quote unquote, safe.
So when you did your very first public speaking event, how did that go?
Oh God, it was TEDx that reached out. And I was like,
that was
oh,
the first
God.
one you did?
The first one in my life.
Just
And
go
I was
big
like,
or go home.
yeah, of course, of course. I've had all these other people ask me in front of, not many people, and here's TEDx. But I made a promise to myself. And so in those moments, who do you show up to be? And so I'd said yes. And that's when the real fear kicked in.